I joined exactly on January 2nd of 2001. So we came down on our bike, me and my husband, on January 1st. That was a holiday for him. So we said, okay, let us go and check out. And we drove down this place, and ISB, the where we are sitting right now, this whole place was under construction at that time. It was still in the making. And I just fell in love with this place at the first instant. And it was like, this is meant to be, for me.
My ex-boss, Mr. Vinurs, was instrumental in, motivating me to join this as a startup department and also the institution. What motivated me is, I always liked accepting challenges and work hard and ensuring that everything was in place. So I felt, this may be a right opportunity for me to step into and then create something new along with the director of admissions.
We were operating from the IIIT office. We rented one full floor at the IIIT office, and we were a handful of us, maybe 10 of us who were there at that time. I might be among the 10 employees.
My employee code ID is 10008. So I was the 8th employee to join ISB. There were 7 more employees, a couple of them from the operations team, about 3 of them in the finance team, and my boss. I think 7 more, and I was the 8th employee who joined who's part of the ISB. So when the admissions process for the round 1 that started somewhere around September 2000, ended in the month of November or December, we started sending out emails. That was the first step that we did on the desktops somewhere during November 2000. That's how it all started. Everything was, we used to have large tables with all documents spread on our desks, and literally, there was no help, because I was the first staff member to join along with a temporary staff member who was already in place.
And within 6 months, we were supposed to launch this global institute, right? We had no idea, what to do about it as staff members. But then there was guidance from all over. The founder, Rajat Gupta, was with McKinsey at that time. So there was a team of close to 40 people deployed at the location to take care of both, the infrastructure setup and also the actual launch of the program, the academic launch of the program. Sumantra Ghoshal, the founding dean at that time, was actually doing master classes, going from one city to the other to get the best class in place. Those 6 months is really etched in my mind very strongly because of just being thrown into a place where you don't know what to do, but still you are supposed to do, right? So in April, there was a library director who was appointed, and he had to just set it up in 2 months, May and June. So we were working, I think I was working at least until 10 to 11 in the night. And 2 of us, even Balan, who is right now heading the library, the LRC, he and I were colleagues even at that time, and we were working and setting up things. And we were, the library, this building was not ready at that time. So the library was in one of the permanent faculty housing. So we set it up there with 500 books and many databases, close to 12 databases, if I remember it right. So we were a small team of 3 people who just took care. But there was McKinsey who was supporting us all the time.
So when we started the first batch, we never had any timings. I would say we had worked for almost 364 days out of 365 days in the first year. We didn't have laptops, we didn't have Wi-Fi, we didn't have internet connectivity at home. So all the time we used to spend in office. Probably I would have spent on an average 12 to 13 hours in the office on campus during the first year. Then when we started recruiting more employees, probably that came down to about 10 hours to 11 hours on an average, and we used to handle almost 200 to 300 phone calls on an average in a day. This is not weekly. We used to receive about 200 to 300 phone calls in a day. 2 of us used to handle all these phone calls, and it used to be very hectic. We used to get inquiries to ask about admission for their kids. They were thinking that it's a school, primary school or a mid-level school where they can admit their children. right? These were really very funny to respond to such questions and make them understand that B school is a new concept, and this has come from the western part of the world. So they where the colleges, universities are also called business schools.
I still remember the words Professor Sumantra Ghoshal had mentioned at that time. He said, it is not the buildings, not the infrastructure that makes a world-class institution. It is the people, who matter to the institution. It is the people who actually see through the vision that our founders have made. I felt really valued. I continue to remember that. That statement keeps me humble all the time. And you give. ISB is such a place that you tend to give a lot more. I think the ambience is such that you want to do a lot more to this institution, and it has created many milestones in the last 20 years. As you know, we lived up to every vision that our founders had for this place.
To start with, we started with 128 students. Of course, finally, there were only 122 who graduated. That's what we started with. Now we have almost 900 students as part of the 20th batch. So it's definitely a great evolution from what it was. We received approximately 900 applications, and now I think we are getting approximately 7 to 8,000 applications at this point in time. This is what I'm speaking about is the flagship program, which is the PGP.
See, we really didn't change track. We are on the same track that was envisioned, many years ago. We stay to be a standalone management institution, doing great, wonderful research, imparting, good education. So we continue to do that. But what we have done a little bit more in 2012 when we launched the Mohali campus is to start the institutes, where we became a little bit more relevant, as I said, to India and the applied problems that we have. Though here, even in Hyderabad, we had several centers of research established by then. But I think adding those was a little bit more to what we had envisioned. Yeah. Other than that, I would say it's a very ambitious vision, that we had set out. So living up to that itself is, a great achievement.
I started with the admissions department during November 2000. So that was my first role as an admissions assistant. So currently, I've worked there for almost 16 years and then moved into the academic services department, and I've been continuing there for the last 5 years. So I handle mostly the operations part of the PGP. In addition to that, I also manage 40 plus academic associates who actually support faculty at ISB in ensuring that the PGP classes happen seamlessly.
And finally, the project, the function that I handle now, accreditation and ranking, also started in the Dean's office. So when we got accredited for the first time in 2011, I was working on that project. I spearheaded that project during that time. Again, that I think is a privilege. Not many people get the opportunity to do that. Now, today, I am the associate director for a particular function called planning and regulation. And I do things that I didn't believe I could do earlier, like managing 2 programs, FPM and EFPM programs, and also managing the entire gamut of accreditation, ranking, and risk management for the school. I have evolved as a person. I have learned a lot, and I think there is a long way to go to. Even at ISB, there is always something to learn, and all the more gratifying for me because I'm an alum of the school. ISB gave me an opportunity to study at ISB. So I did PGP Max. That I think, again, not many people are able to do that even if they would like to. So that is something, my career has been wonderful at ISB. Yeah.